I call to order the regular meeting of the City of Aransas Pass City Council, November 6, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. Let's all rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Heavenly Father, thank you, my Father, for the blessings that you have given us, and how you have been with us, my Father, regardless of what trials we have gone through. I pray, my Father, that you continue to sustain us as a community. I pray, my Father, for the nation of Israel, peace in that region, my Father. The word says to pray for the peace of Israel, and that is what I'm praying for, all of us together, my Father, lifting them up. I pray, Lord, that you guide us as a council to make the right decisions for our city. I pray, Lord, that you be with our attorney, our department heads, our police chief, fire chief. You know the responsibilities that they have, my Father, that we all come together as one to continue the city of Aransas Pass moving forward. This we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now we're gonna go to presentations and proclamations, and we're gonna go to an update by Phillips 66 regarding Blue Water Texas Terminal, Mr. Joe Taylor and Rich Johnson from Phillips 66.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. Wanted to, talking with Rich Johnson, he said we'd had some requests to come and give an update. This project we've been working on since 2018, really.
Wow.
But it's been a long road, but we're still working on it. So I've got a lot of information here on some slides. I'd like to walk through this. Please stop me. Any questions that you may have, I'm happy to answer things as long as we go along. I'm going to go to 2. So the Blue Water Texas Terminal is a joint venture between Phillips 66 and Trafigura. Trafigura is a big buyer of crude oil out of the Permian Basin. They're a very large shipper on a lot of the pipelines, so they have an interest in this particular project. But really what it is it's a way to load the very large crude carriers, VLCCs, that export American energy to the world directly as opposed through reverse lightering. So reverse lightering is where we load smaller vessels inshore and take those out and then transload the contents onto the larger vessels offshore. We're trying to cut out that middle step by having the pipelines run offshore and then a buoy out there where the ships are actually able to connect and just load directly. Let's see, why don't we go on to the next one? Okay. So it's two 30-inch pipelines that run parallel to each other, going about 26 miles offshore. There's 2 scopes for the project. One is 1 buoy, or we can do a second buoy that's approximately 1 mile away. More than likely it'll be the second buoy, or we'll have a 2 buoy system. It'll be able to flow up to 80,000 barrels an hour, and each VLCC loads approximately 2 million barrels of crude oil. So in reverse lightering, that takes 3 separate ships going in and out in order to load that, because each one of the ships loads about 600,000 to 700,000 barrels in order to get out there. It's about 26 miles offshore. We'll start around the Taft area, go out across to Harbor Island, where we'll have a pump station as well as some emergency response equipment, and then those lines will continue offshore approximately 26 miles. Capacity-wise, each buoy can do about 8 VLCCs per month, and that's just a matter of scheduling and timing-wise and with the crude flows that come in. So if we did one buoy, it would be 8 vessels. If we did 2 buoys, it would be 16 per month.
One question.
Yes.
Will the valve station be on the north or south side of 361?
It will be on
Harbor Island.
the north side of 361. So where the Martin facility is,
Okay.
It'll be just down the road a little
Okay.
ways. It's on Port of Corpus Christi property over there. The original scope, if you saw, there was a previous scope that actually had 2 oil tanks and 2 water tanks on that site. Those have been moved inland, so all it is now is just a pump station and a valve site. So it's much more simplified, but we will have a communication building and emergency response equipment that's staged at that area as well.
Okay, thank you.
Go to the next one. So this is just a depiction of what I was talking about, to eliminate the reverse lightering. Again, 3 trips back and forth every time we load one of these large vessels. Almost all the crude that's loaded in the Port of Corpus Christi is for this purpose. It all gets taken out 20 to 25 miles offshore, transloaded onto a ship. So we have to do that 3 times to get one off, as opposed to just loading direct onto a single one. So that's all this this slide is really showing here. You can go to the next one. One of the things we did, so there were some things in the news around September of last year. The EPA had previously given us a draft permit, and they came back last year and said that they wanted some additional vapor controls in mind. Now, the previous project, by eliminating the reverse lightering, because the majority of the emissions that come from this process actually come from the smaller ships that are going back and forth and the burning of the engines. So we had a 75% reduction in overall emissions from loading one of these vessels just by eliminating the reverse lightering. They wanted us to look and see if there was any better technology out there that we could use. We identified some technology that's used in the North Sea off the coast of the UK, where they have these smaller vessels shown in green here that have a mechanism, a plant, apologize, I'm not an engineer, that's on the back of the vessel that actually is able to capture and compress all those vapors that are coming off. So they have a hose that hooks up, compresses it down into these little propane tank looking guys on the back of the vessel. They can load about 3 vessels worth and consolidate all those vapors, then take them back on the shore, load them onto trucks. And it's basically a Y-grade mixture, which is propane, butane, natural gasoline, those type of things. So we can then take those and process them, use them for plastics, feedstocks, any of those kind of things. But what this does is it eliminates even almost down to 98%, or sorry, 95% is what we're able to get the vapor capture down. So the emissions are 95% reduced versus the reverse lightering by using this system. All right, we'll go to the next one. So this is just a demonstration of that on a per compound basis. So the net is 94% reduction. I think I said 95, it's 94. Volatile organic compounds and hazardous air pollutants are almost completely eliminated, 99% reduction in those, and that's just by capturing it all and then putting them back on. So none of those emissions end up back on shore. Normally they would end up there inshore. Now we're pushing anything that's left over, whatever it is 26 miles off. So it's definitely better for the air quality in this area because, number one, you're not emitting anything, and anything that is emitted is 26 miles offshore instead of in your backyard. So, one of the things that was requested was a kind of a schematic of where we were doing horizontal directional drills versus open trenching. So this is specifically on the Aransas Pass area. There's certain areas where we're going to be doing the HDDs. Those are about 3.5 miles. Open trenching is about 6.5 miles. On our website, if anybody is curious as to where the pipeline is going to be in relation to your home or your business, bwtxterminals.com, there's a function where you can put in your address and it will show you exactly where you are in comparison to the pipeline. So if you have any questions on where you are in proximity to any of this work that's going to be going on, it's a great tool. We sent out some postcards, gosh, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, something like that, trying to steer people. It's been a long journey with COVID and everything else in between, but we sent some postcards out to try to draw people to the website so they could see where their property was in relation to the pipeline. But this is just a good representation of kind of where things are at. And I think we got one more. Go up one. There's one in the middle there. So this is just a representation of kind of the effects of what this does. So on the left, you've got what's called an Aframax tanker. If you've ever been on the island and seen those big ships coming in and out, most likely it was one of these. If you need 3 of these for every one of the large ships that's loaded on the Blue Water project, we cut out 576 of these a year going in and out of this channel. So there's a material impact to removing that many large ships in and out of this channel, in and out of Redfish Bay, putting it all offshore and eliminating the need for some of this. And then go to the last one. This is our timeline where it stands right now. We're expecting our new EPA draft permit that includes this vapor capture technology really here between now and the end of the year. Also, there will be a supplement to our environmental impact study that should come out in January. So there will also be a public open house down in Corpus Christi in January. I don't know if it's been actually formally announced yet, but that's the expectation. And it will have, there'll be a public comment forum for anybody to come up and make comments on the project. It'll also have additional details, more specifics around this project. They'll be published on our docket on the DOT's website, but we'll also have information there in January. And that's the latest and greatest.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna go to the check presentation by Patrick King. Mr. Patrick? Uh-oh.
Good evening, council members, Aransas Pass, members of citizens of Aransas Pass. My name is Patrick King with AEP Texas. And earlier this year, AEP Texas was approached by the Chamber of Commerce, and we were asked if there was any possibility to help with a solution with the aging community Christmas tree. And after we did some research, AEP Foundation, which is out of Columbus, Ohio, it's actually comprised of 7 operating companies within the AEP service territory, which is throughout 11 states. And so AEP Texas is part of that foundation. So we looked at the opportunities to to try to resolve this issue, and we ended up requesting that the downtown district submit an application for a grant to replace that Christmas tree. And we're here today to give the good news that that grant was accepted, and that we did fund the cost for the community Christmas tree for the city of Aransas Pass. So wanted to give a check presentation today here to y'all. And I just want to say that this process is very competitive. There's a lot of applications that come through with different needs throughout our whole service territory, and the staff did a great job of putting this request together and this grant application. We received support letters from the school district. We received support letters from other entities within the community of Aransas Pass that really helped get this thing across the finish line, so we could get it funded. So $35,000. We're going to have a nice new Christmas tree here in the middle of the community for the kids and under the community enrichment umbrella. So it really come together for us. So I wanted to foremost say that's what we're trying to do with this foundation. But in addition to that, I wanted to commend Rosemary and the staff for putting together that grant application. It really come together for us. So I'm really happy. You know, these things are so competitive, and to get some of that foundation grant money in our area, you know, it's good stuff. So just wanted to see if we could get a quick picture, and that's all I had to say, Rosemary.
Oh, yeah.
We really appreciate you.
Yes. We're real happy too.
It was a lot of work, but in all, it paid off, and we had a lot of referral letters from the city of the Aransas Pass, the school district, some of the council, some of the police chief, and as a result, we're getting a new tree. That tree that we had was 9 years old. and not in the best shape anymore. And we ended up asking for a little bit more, so you'll see a lot more activity on the island other than the tree. We're going to wrap it with a white fencing, and we're going to put some more other stuff out there. So it'll be really nice and lit up, and really a nice Christmas this year.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can get a
Oh,
pic- we can get a picture.
Did you want us to? There you go. There you go. You're kind of.
Want us down there?
You want us down there, or
there or up here?
how should we do this? Yeah.
Down here?
Good. I'm so excited.
Can y'all scoot in a little?
Thank y'all so much.
Now we're gonna go to an update on Navigate 2044 Comprehensive Plan. Andrew, could you-
No, we have to get him on the phone, mayor, council, and, just at this moment. This is
That's pretty cool.
update on where we are with the comprehensive plan process.
my gosh.
Hello, this is Andrew.
Hi, Mr. Knuckle, this is Jessica, and you're on your items now.
Okay, great.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, can you all hear me?
Yes.
We can. Yes.
Perfect. Great. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity for a brief update tonight. Once again, this is Andrew Newfold, Oscar Robinson. I'm the project manager for the city's comprehensive plan update. And my goal for tonight is just to provide you all with a quick update on our efforts to date and just sort of an overall status report. So I appreciate y'all's time this evening. So just to recap where we've been so far, so we did how the contract goes through earlier this summer and had a project kickoff meeting early August. We did jump right into 2 community workshops in early September and October. So our first workshop is really focused on visioning and understanding where community priorities may have changed since the last plan was prepared in 2018. And our second workshop really focused on 2 of these priorities with deep dives into planning issues that affect downtown Aransas Pass, Tom Brown Harbor, and these areas in between. In addition to this point, we've had 2 meetings with the plan steering committee before and after these workshops, and this group has provided really great direction on the planning process, including guidance for how to conduct upcoming community engagement efforts. As a quick view of where we are right now and what we're up to, our team is currently working on transforming and translating some of this initial feedback into an overall policy framework and updated goals as guided by the steering committee. Over the last 2 weeks, we've begun to review the future land use plan. We've worked to start developing an updated thoroughfare plan, and we've also started to vet some preliminary recommendations for the downtown area. And this work's been done through quite a bit of discussion with a really cross-departmental group of city staff, as well as an initial focused discussion with members of the Destination Aransas Pass board about a week ago. And we do anticipate additional conversations with staff in the coming weeks. The next couple weeks, we'll be preparing for a presentation to the Aransas Pass ISD board. That'll be next Monday. We're working to prepare for a 3rd community workshop on Wednesday, December 6th, and also do some more targeted outreach to families and youth stakeholders in response to some feedback from the steering committee that we received earlier last month. So for our 3rd workshop, this will really be an opportunity for the community to help weigh in on some of these drafts, and I want to emphasize drafts, land use and transportation concepts, as well as some initial concepts for future development and connections between downtown and Cabo Brown Harbor. In the coming months, we'll also start a stage pivot to parks, recreation, and open space within the city, and working to develop a strategy for the future development. And per our discussion with the city manager, we are hoping to be working with the new Parks and Recreation manager once the new hire is on board. So we are on track for completion in the early spring, and I really appreciate the chance to work with you all. It's been a pleasure to get to know better your officials, staff, and residents throughout the update process. So I know this is kind of a brief update, but as always, please feel free to contact me, just like Gary or say know if you have any questions or concerns. And then I'll actually be in town Wednesday a little bit during the day, doing some field work. So if you do want to have a chance to chat with me, we will be around, and always happy to find time to chat and make sure we are taking this plan in the right direction with you all. So that's all I have for tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions.
No, we're good.
Okay.
Thank you, Andrew.
I got one.
Oh, hang on.
What did you just tell us? I mean, you had a bunch of philosophies and plans for nothing. What do we got these guys hired for? I'm confused. I didn't hear anything of substance in that whole conversation. Did anybody? I didn't. Maybe I'm simple. I didn't hear anything positive that's going to help the city, except we're going to plan a future. How about specifics? How about some program? How about some direction? I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something.
If I may.
Yes.
This is simply a brief update for the council on where everything is in the meetings that have been held so far. It's not meant to go into extensive detail. And I know you were at the last meeting. There's another meeting coming up, as Andrew said, on December 6th. And then prior to, between those meetings, a lot of the work goes on with staff also. And several members of the public have been at the earlier two meetings, and we're anticipating the same on December 6th. That's where the details come out. This is simply a brief update. If you wanted a comprehensive explanation, it's not going to happen in this brief update. So your points are excellent, but it won't happen in this particular meeting.
So when is the public advised of anything going on? Because I'm not privy to anything.
The last meeting we had, we put it out in,
We had Legos.
I'm sorry?
We had tables with Legos on it. I mean, that's the extent of we're hiring these people to build a community. I just don't see it.
I don't know how to respond to that. I don't know.
I mean, if we're going to develop this community, which I've invested in, like everybody else here, I'm sure is invested in, we need to know specifics, not just generalities on how we're going to build a community. We all know how to build a community. We got to have substance. We got to have a little bit of focus.
This is
just in
about-
generalities.
We're about 3 months into it. This is about a year-long process, and you're more than welcome to attend all of the meetings that are coming up.
I would appreciate it if you'd put it somewhere in the pub where we'd know about these meetings, so
We
we'd all
announce
know
it
about
in
it.
approximately 4 to 5 different media, including the last one, a television report, Facebook report. We did it in the newsletter. We did it on a announcement through the reverse 911. I don't know how else we can reach out.
That's my point.
Very good.
Any other questions? Okay, we're gonna go to the presentations of annual audit report ending September 30th, 2022. Ms. Brenda.
Good evening. How are y'all this evening? Thanks for having me.
Brenda.
I don't have $35,000 to give you, sorry.
Darn, you're fired.
But I am going to try to keep it succinct for Mr. Lunsky. I think hopefully I will. So, let's see, where am I going to start? Okay, so let me just start off by saying that the audit for the fiscal year in 22 is a clean opinion. It's unmodified. So what that means is that your financial statements pass muster, and the bond counsel and all the other people that like to read your financial statements are going to be able to read them, and they comply with all of the other requirements. The health of the city is good. The delay in the presentation of this audit was partially self-imposed, but most of the part of it was GASB. You know, we've talked about the Governmental Accounting Standards Board and how they like to change things up from time to time. Well, they made a big change, and it's called GASB 87. And GASB 87 has to do with how the leases that the city has are accounted for. And you have lots of leases. You have lots of land leases, you have building leases, you have lots of different leases. So the GASB 87 says, okay, I want you to look at each one of those leases, and we had to take the present value of those leases over their life and recognize an asset, a receivable. That's what was required for us to do, and it took a long time. Likewise, on the flip side of that, any leases that you have that are liabilities, for example, the copy machine, you have a 5-year copier lease. So that has to be recognized now on the face of the financial statements as a liability because you're obligated to pay that lease over 5 years. So those are the kinds of things that we've been dealing with this report. It was a whole nother, I don't know what they're going to come up with next. I hate to ask the question, but anyway, so I think the GASB board decided that by imposing this rule on everybody, that it would just make a more accurate financial picture of all cities. Because remember, the audit report it's supposed to look like all other cities. The outlay, the format of it is supposed to look like other cities. So the people, like I said, your insurance carriers, your bond people can look at it and can give you a bond rating and can compare your financial health to other cities your same size, and that's what's important. The good news is we've already started on the current year, so that's underway. So we anticipate a January, late January, early February delivery of next year's audit. Let me just give you a couple of takeaways. Your debt was reduced by $1.3 million last year. You retired at $1.3 million. I commend you for that. That's good. That's a good thing. Your total outstanding debt at the end of last year was $20 million. So you guys were in debt to the tune of $20 million. That was down, but from $21.3 million. And your revenues last year increased by $2.5 million. So the city had $2.5 million more in revenue last year than they did the year before. And that part of that revenue is grants, tax revenues. Those were up quite a bit, but you had a lot of grants, and there was FEMA grants and there were some other grants. So that's the takeaway. That's the long and short of my report. I'm happy to entertain any questions you might have.
It was long. You did a lot of work.
It was long.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, it did take a long time.
It was very long.
Do you have any questions? We all made it too easy. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we're gonna go to board and commission appointments. It's the Environmentally Sensitive Area, ESA Board.
Council and Mayor, Alexander Picas has applied and wishes to seek appointment as an alternate member for the ESA Board. The term expires September 1st. The position is currently vacated right now.
So we're just appointing the alternate?
You are, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I make a motion to appoint Alexander Picas to the ESA Board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We're going to go to the consent agenda. All of the following items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of this item unless a council member so requests. If discussion is desired desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
I make a motion to approve the October 16th regular meeting and October 23rd special meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We're gonna go to the city manager, which is consider an act and approving a resolution by the city council of the city of Aransas Pass, Texas, authorizing and approving publication of notice of intention to issue certificates of obligation complying with the requirements contained in Securities and Exchanges Commission Rule 15C2-12 and providing an effective date.
Mr. Mayor and Council, we'll be calling on some people here, but essentially, what this issue does, it's the critical issue for moving forward with the issue that you've been talking about for almost a year now. To briefly recap, the fire station would cost approximately $10 million. Just a little over. The renovation of the police department would be a little over $3 million. This particular issuance would be for $16 million to cover any increase in prices. Prices have increased frighteningly fast since COVID. Back in, I used as an example, back in 2013-14, I was elsewhere. We built a large fire station for $3 million. You cannot do that these days, especially with COVID and the way prices are going. And that's one of the reasons we're asking, if the council agrees, to move forward on this because of the rapid increase in prices. That's only going up day by day. If you want to move forward with this particular issuance. Again, those are the prices we're working with, and it's something that we are want to talk about further. And Mr. Mark McCliney with Samco is here tonight. He will explain the vehicle that can be used for the financing of this particular issuance. Mark?
My partner was here at last council meeting, and we went over the finances, the numbers. What we're going to talk about today is the timetable, or go over the timetable for the potential issuance of certificates of obligation. So a certificate of obligation is a borrowing mechanism that cities use, and Aransas Pass has used it in the past, to borrow money for capital improvement programs. The law states that City Council can authorize the notice of intention resolution, which is what this is going to be considered. We publish it 2 weeks in a row, and we put it on your website to notice your citizens that you're considering this project. That gives them opportunities to have an input with you, with staff, and so forth. After those publications, 46 days after the first publication, City Council has the right to authorize that sale. It's through the certificate of obligation. So today is a legal step, if you so choose, to proceed. Only noticing your citizens. And again, everything, all the information is put into the notice, and it's put on the website and published in the paper. The timetable that I have there shows today being November 6th. We would publish December 20th and December 27th, and we put it on your website right after this authorization, if council authorizes it. You'll see the sale is not until February 12th, and on February 12th, City Council will have to meet and decide again if this is what you want to do. So today is only the step to notice your citizens that you're considering it. February 12th is the day when you would actually receive interest rates and authorize it, and then money would be here approximately 1 month later. So today's the opportunity, if you so choose, to move forward with this, the financing of this project. We can go over, and I have another handout if you want, to go over the numbers that were discussed in October. And it's the same handout then, as we used then.
Let's just move it forward.
I still feel this needs to be on the next city election in the form of a bond election. Because that does two things. One, it shows absolute transparency, and two, it puts the voters in the driver's seat to decide if this is how they want to encumber this much debt.
Okay, come on up. Come on up.
Okay, so I agree with Jason. This should be up to the citizens and not left up to 5 individuals to discuss. So with $16 million going to a fire station and to a police station, when we have piss poor fundamental infrastructure such as sewer and roads. Not to mention, we already blew $1.3 million on a ladder truck that we used for Chief Kelly to cut palm trees. I mean, it's time to really think about how you blow our money. Thank you.
Any other questions? Favor of the council?
What's the interest rate on that?
We don't know. There isn't one.
We don't know
There
yet.
isn't one.
Because you're not going to sell, well, right now we use about 5% as the borrowing in the market. Markets go up and down between now and February.
So if February, you get a signed contract for 5%?
No, well, in February, we'll get it whatever the market is. We'll bid these out. If council moves forward, the process for the actual loan is to put the terms out and then allow for all the bond purchasers to bid on these bonds. So in today's world, if you borrowed right now, we'd probably be in a 4.5% range. We've run the numbers basically based upon a 5% because the Fed still is meeting. They could move rates up, they can move them down. So we try to always estimate on the high side, but when the actual bid is done, we'll end up with probably 6, 7, or 8 bids from throughout the country, with the lowest bid, the lowest interest rate, being what the council would award, subject to them meeting the bid requirements. So that's why I say today is not a day that the council's authorizing any sale or any loan. This is to notice the citizens, and then on February 13th, when we actually receive and have interest rates in hand, you'll know what the actual payment is and be able to award. If interest rates come in at 6.5%, and we don't think that's the right market, council should turn it down. So today, we just don't know what the market's going to be. And I said February 13th, it's February 12th, until, a week or so before that day.
Any other questions?
Make a motion to approve a resolution by the City Council of the City of Aransas Pass, Texas, authorizing and approving publication of notice of intention to issue certificates of obligation complying with the requirements contained in Securities and Exchange Commission Rule 15C2-12 and providing an effective date.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I'm still going to vote no. If the voters are not going to get to decide on this, then I cannot support it.
Motion passed.
Motion passes.
We're going to go to consider an act on issuance a request for qualifications for architectural engineering services for planning and design of a new fire station and police department renovation.
Mayor and Council, this simply is authorizing staff to begin the process of requesting bids, although bid is not the correct word. It's an RFQ, request for qualifications. Professional firms, you have to go with an RFQ, not an RFP. We're simply, if you agree, we're simply moving forward with starting the process for inviting people to send in their qualifications. In an RFQ, The way that happens is, as they come in, we have a committee that's set up. And that committee decides who is the best qualified, and we will probably call people, the candidates, and say, why are you interested, et cetera, all those kinds of questions. We'll have 1 or 2 council members, can't have more than 2, on that committee. And then a decision will be made on which company to go with. Then you begin discussing the amount of what the cost is. You don't begin with an RFQ. You don't discuss the amount until you find out what company you're working with. If that is an unacceptable amount, you go to the next company, and we've done that. We've gone 2 or 3 down, actually. So that's the process you're authorizing, if you agree, staff to move forward with.
Okay, I make,
Got a question here. So you're telling me that right now, y'all gonna agree to build something that you don't know what it is, and you don't know, is there a jail? Is there a police department, a fire department? You don't know the size, you don't know anything, but you're gonna try to pick a contractor based on qualifications without knowing square foot, costs, or anything. Is that what I'm understanding?
No,
No.
just the opposite.
Opposite?
Yeah.
The opposite.
Yeah,
We're not
right now,
make-
we're just looking for somebody that is qualified to be able to put that package together and see if we agree on that package or not. We're not spending any money
What are we
right now.
trying to, we're trying to build a jail and a police department and
Yes.
fire department, right?
Correct.
So you're looking
But
kind of
will
like a development firm to just give you an idea of what to build?
Well, you find the people that have done that work before?
Engineering.
Engineering firm.
Okay.
But don't we already have the plans and the designs and the engineering?
just the
They
basic.
are,
Something, sure.
if I may, they are tentative at this point to give us an
Correct.
idea of what the cost.
Yes.
We had to
It's
know
like a season
generally how much this
Yeah, I know.
But
would
it's not.
cost in this particular market, the way the market is fluctuating so much. But as far as getting someone to give us a thorough design,
Yes.
that's what we're looking at right now.
Looking for a budget. Looking for a construction budget.
Cost estimate will be, cost will be part of that, yes.
Okay.
I make a motion that we act on the issuance of requests for qualifications for architectural engineering services for planning and design of a new fire station and police station renovation.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Like the previous item, I'm not voting on this because this is taken out of the voters' hands.
Motion passes.
Okay, we're gonna go to consider an act on resolution recognizing the importance of the municipal courts, the rule of law, and the fair and impartial administration of justice, and recognizing November 6th through November 10th, 2023 as a municipal court week. And it goes as follows. Resolution number 2023, in recognition of Municipal Court Week, November 6th through the 10th, 2023. A resolution recognizing the importance of municipal courts, the rule of law, and the fair and impartial administration of justice. Whereas municipal courts play a significant role in preserving public safety and promoting quality of life in Texas. Whereas more people come in contact with municipal courts than any other Texas courts combined, and public impressions of the Texas judicial system is largely dependent upon the public's experience in municipal court. Whereas the procedures for the Aransas Pass Municipal Court operations are set forth in the Texas Code of Criminal Procedures and other laws of the state of Texas. Whereas the city of Aransas Pass is committed to the notions that our legal system is based on the principle that an independent, fair, and competent judiciary will interpret and apply the law that govern us, and that judges and court personnel could comply with the law and act in a manner that promotes public confidence in the integrity and impartiality of the judiciary. Whereas Aransas Pass municipal judges are not policy makers for the city of Aransas Pass, but are bound by the law and the canons of judicial conduct, and are required to make decisions independent of the governing body of the city council, city officials, and employees. Whereas the city council recognizes that the Constitution and the laws of the state of Texas contains procedural safeguards in criminal cases for all defendants, including indigent defendants, and supports the Aransas Pass Municipal Court in complying with such legal requirements. Now therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Aransas Pass, Texas, that the week of November 6th through the 10th, 2023 is hereby recognized as Municipal Court Week in recognition of the fair and impartial justice offered to our citizens by Municipal Court of Aransas Pass, passed and approved on the 6th day of November 2023.
Make a motion?
Yes. Yes, make a motion.
Oh,
Somebody
there's a
has to
motion
make
on
one.
it?
Yeah.
I was gonna say. Okay, all right.
Okay.
I make a motion on the resolution recognizing the importance of municipal courts, rule of law, and the fair and impartial administration of justice, and recognizing November 6th through the 10th as Municipal Court Week.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Okay. David. Oh, there you go.
Okay. We're going to go to Development Services, which is considered an act on award to propose the request for proposal to Associated Construction Partners LTD for the stormwater pump station number 1 and number 2 improvements in the amount of $1.729 million.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So exactly 1 year and 2 days ago, the city had opened up some bids for the Pump Station 1 and Pump Station 2 that's on Maddox and Goodnight. The lowest contract was $275,000. At the time we were going to award the contract, they would not sign the contract unless we pre-approved a change order of $295,000. The complication came in when if we added the $295,000 on top of their bid, they would no longer be the lowest bidder, they would be the highest bidder. So then we would have to go to the next bidder, and it just became a mess, and FEMA was not gonna fund that difference. So in this case, we went out, we rejected the bids. I recommended for you guys to reject the bids, which you guys did. Went out for bids again, and now the bids came out at 1.729 million was the lowest. The second lowest was 2.93 million, and the highest was almost $2.1 million. So right now, instead of the 1,275,000 from 2 years ago, the project is now 1.729 million.
And is all that getting covered by FEMA? Yes. Okay.
I make a motion to, were you done?
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
make a
try and
motion
convince you
to
some
award
more,
the
but yeah.
request for proposal to Associated Construction Partners LTD for the stormwater pump station number 1 and 2 improvements in the amount of $1,729,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're going to go to consider an act on awarding a request for bids for the hot mix asphalt type D to Anderson Columbia Company in the amount of $58,435.
So on one of the American Rescue Plans, we installed the sewer system on McClung. So this is just for the hot mix material for us to do it in-house to do an overlay on McClung. When we ran the numbers, they were too high. The grant wanted us to go out for bids, which is the right thing to do anyway. So we only have two suppliers in this area, which is Bay Ltd. And Anderson Columbia. So those were the two that submitted bids, $58,435, and then Bay was $60,944. So very competitive, which we expected. So the recommendation is to approve the $58,000. That way we can schedule to pave McClung next week. So this week we're going to pave Gillespie, and then next week we'll do McClung.
Okay. All right. I make a motion to award the request for bids for hot mix asphalt type D to Anderson Columbia Company in the amount of $58,435.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're going to consider an act on issuance a request for a proposal for a retaining wall at North McCampbell.
So this is just an RFP, so we just need permission to advertise to go out for bids. So when the North McCampbell project was complete, there was some erosion on one of the roadways. The recommendation is to build a small retaining wall to keep from that erosion from happening. So right now, we just need permission to advertise. Once the bids come in, we'll come forward to the council to get that approved.
Did that have anything to do with any of the engineering out there when that project was done? Because I was curious, like, if some of this could go back to the original engineer of that project.
Yeah, so when I came on board, the project was like 95% done. So I honestly didn't see the plans in depth because at that point, we're doing the walkthrough. But possibility, but I'm not sure. I couldn't answer that question.
Okay.
Yeah.
I make a motion to act on the issuance of a request for proposals for a retaining wall at North McCampbell.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to city councilor staff announcements. Mr. Gary?
Yes, several for you. The closure of Arch Street is one item that will be discussed. By the way, the date for the workshop is not set yet.
I think you skipped one.
I'm sorry?
You skipped one, the Fall Fest.
Fall Feast.
Just seeing if you were paying attention.
Is that what it was, a test? Okay.
The Fall Fest will be, thank you very much, appreciate it. The Fall Fest, November 16th, and everything is coming along well on that, actually. And this year promises to be as huge as the previous Fall Feast have been. But that's moving along well. Again, it is November 16th from 7 p.m. Everybody is welcome.
5:30.
No cost. I'm sorry?
5:30.
5:30.
5:30. Thank you very much. Boy, you're very good. 5:30 to 7:30, and it's again, it's moving along quite well. So just want to make you aware of that. Also, the closure of Arch Street is with the workshop meeting. We don't have a date set for that yet. Request for Con Brown Harbor lease space. Want to talk about some of the suggestions that have come before us. I anticipate that'll still be on the agenda by that time. By the way, the workshop we anticipate will be in December, not in November. The holiday, it's going to be easier to have it sometime before Christmas. So that's when the work session will be, but no date has been set as of yet. Reinstatement of the City Council Administrative Committee, if you wish. The Administrative Committee is designed to have a non-quorum group of council members to deal with issues that involve your 4 appointed positions. In the past, it has been very helpful, but it's up to the council if you want to do that. Anyway, that's something that that'll come before you in a work session. And tiny homes, and tiny went out to a site today met someone who wants to deal with tiny homes in an RV park that had been a problem for us. That particular RV park has been purchased by someone else. It has been cleared out. And they're looking at tiny homes for senior citizens, preferably at that particular location, and it's going to be manicured, etc. More details coming up at the work session. I assume that interest will still be there by the time of the work session. So those are the items for the work session, and thank you for the reminder on the Fall Feast.
Okay, now we're going to go to citizen comments. Citizen comments are intended for the matters that are not scheduled on the agenda. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes and state your name and address for the record. Be advised that the Texas Open Meeting Act prohibits the city council from responding and discussing your comments. The law authorizes the following: make a statement of factual information, recite existing policy, advised that this subject may be placed on the agenda for a subsequent meeting.
Very good.
Come on up.
Jason Followell, owner Texas Strong Fitness in Aransas Pass, Texas. A little education for you guys. You might look this up later on, Roxanne. Texas Local Government Code 233.061. Do you know what that is? Of course not. So, Section A gives authority to commission court of a county with a population of over 250,000, or a county adjacent to the county with a population of 250,000, may adopt fire codes. That means San Patricio County. This law-breaking council right here adopted the International Fire Code Edition 2018 in August of 2019 without going through the Commission's court. San Patricio County didn't adopt IFC 2018 until November of 2022. Prior to that date, they were under IFC 2006. Chief Blanchard illegally raided my business under IFC 2018. Guess what's going to get thrown out of court? I beat this city in court in June of 2022 over a fire inspection. You guys didn't like that, so you came back. I beat this council again over your tyranny over 4 illegal inspections and a warrant with no probable cause that he wrote in May of 2023. I beat him. And you. I will beat you this time again because you violated the law, made up your own law, adopted codes, and then used them against me. It'll get thrown out, buddy. With that said, Jason, if you have time, I'd like to talk to you about the corruption in this town. Ram, I know me and you have your differences because I went up to you initially and asked for your help. You turned your back on me and the community. So my advice to you is to quit listening to Carrie Shrugs. A woman that stole her stepson's $2 million inheritance can never be trusted. If you would like to talk to me after the meeting and settle this, I'll do it. Just nod your head, no problems, and we can forget all this BS, me making him look bad and y'all. Joe, I've asked you several times to talk about the abuse of power in this town. You ignored me. You're either corrupt or you're a coward. With that said, I'll give you one more opportunity. I'll wait outside and talk to you. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it, nod your head because I'm not wasting my time. Will you be out there and talk to me? Coward or corrupt? Which one is it? That's what I thought. You're a piece of shit too then. Pound Cake, I told you the moment you came onto my property with the bullshit warrant to do the right thing, and instead you continuously harass me. Consequently to your abuse of power, I continuously expose you and make my community, not yours, you live in Portland, as you are nothing but the devil. Y'all might call me that, but that's what you people are. Y'all break the law and abuse your power. There's nothing left in the air. There's nothing but air left in opportunity. And I just sucked all the air out of the room, Chief Blanchard. What are you going to do about it now, Mr. Tyrant? I expect my court case will be dismissed again because of your illegal activity and you're a dumbass. Pound Cake, you will grovel on your knees and apologize for your abuse of power to me. But before you do, go talk to your mama and tell her about all the lies you did and tell her how sorry you are for being a corrupt piece of shit. I'm sorry. Amen, baby Jesus.
Anybody else?
I'm sorry. With all my excitement about the tree, I forgot to mention that it has a 5-year warranty on it, and that throughout the years we can continue to add sections underneath the bottom of it in 4 feet. So that tree can get anywhere from the 26 feet that it is right now up to 50 or 60, however much we can afford each year. And next year, hopefully, we can do a little bit of fundraising and we can raise it another 8 feet.
Sounds good.
It's already anchored.
Vehicles drive around it.
I want to just the homeless and the panhandling in town. It's getting to be, in my opinion, a nuisance. I own a business in town, and you drive on the street and you got panhandlers and they're fighting for corners. And I know Texas law has a freedom of speech, freedom of whatever, but I think I read a deal. Texas law says that if it annoys one person, it shouldn't be allowed. And when I see somebody on the street corner and I offer them food, and I offer them, we want money, I offer them a job, no, we don't work. We don't want to become a Portland, Oregon, and Aransas Pass. For a clean town, I want to be a nice town. And I see people on the side begging for money and not, and like I said, everybody has downfalls and everything, but let's address it before it gets out of hand. Because I own a restaurant down there, and right now I got people hanging out in my parking lot sometimes in the middle of the night, and I don't want to see that. And I see more people every day front of the dollar store, in front of H-E-B, in front of Walmart. Every corner you go, by Walgreens, everywhere, you got people hanging out. And it's getting worse. Used to be 1 or 2, now it's going to be 1 or 5, 1 or 10. I'm just saying, I think we ought to address it before it gets out of hand. Thank you.
My name is Mike Harrison. I live at 123 Oak Haven Drive here in Aransas Pass. I moved here 2 years ago. I met the chief on a couple of occasions. How you doing, Chief? I'm trying to learn about this city. I came from Kyle, south of Austin. I was there 35 years. And I also own a business. Is that me? I'm so sorry. I thought I turned it completely off. I'm sorry, guys. Well, it looks like it's an alarm. Let me see if I can muffle it. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. Anyway, also I bought some commercial property over here across the bypass from the Butter Churn restaurant. Used to be Steve Hall's body and paint and muffler. And my intention was to buy it and to try and grow with this city. I'm here now. I've been here 2 years. I want to try to make my city better, however I can. The problem is that the city annexed my property 5 years ago. I've only owned it since May of last year is when I bought it. The city annexed it, and but I don't have any water and I don't have any sewer. And I don't know how I can make my property better with an aerobic system and a well. And if I've got annexed, I'm just wondering when am I going to get the benefits of being in the city and having the city utilities. So I know that hopefully we can get this at another time. I've spoke to a couple of people about this, and I was told to bring it to the council, and if we can find out what's going on. I know there was a bill passed recently that said if a municipality annexes you and don't provide the utilities, that they have to let you go back to the county. Okay, so I know that passed. So I would just like to get some clarification and a timeline. Right now, there's sewer and water going on either side of my property. The group of commercial buildings there, on either side, there's water and sewer going there, and I don't know why it's not connecting in between. So if we could get something. If I could get some information on that.
Mayor and Council, we will look into that. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
We will
Thank
look
you.
into that, and I don't have contact. I don't have contact information for you. If you could contact City Hall tomorrow and let us know how to contact you after we look into it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Second note, I've been about a half a block on Euclid, and I don't have city water yet. And I bought this probably 2 years ago. It's on Euclid and over there, and by the substation over there. And they said that I don't have enough water system to supply the houses I want to build over there. And they've been looking into it for like 2 years. So if you could look into that for me, I'd sure appreciate it.
He'll get with you. All right, now we're gonna go to a executive session. Ay, ay, ay. Section 551.071 of the Texas Open Meeting Act, to meet with his attorney to seek legal advice on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the city council under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Texas Open Meeting Act relating to Brown Harbor Lease Underwater Services Incorporated subdivision regulations in City ETJ, and it is 6:34.